Yes. Welcome, everyone. If you're watching live, of course, it is Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, or in this case, a minute past noon Eastern Time on the East Coast. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show, as it has been at noon Eastern Time on a Wednesday for the last almost 8 years. Beach cannot hear me again when we came back from pulling the cameras up. That is such a weird technical glitch that we have. So Beach will return and we'll do the High Noon Show. Of course, you can find us many places like the Facebook. That's the Temptations Beach Facebook page, also the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and of course, make sure you're following at Temptations on X, or you still call it Twitter. Then follow it on Twitter. I'm of course Stoner Jesus. I do various things in the interwebs. You can search out. He is Beach. He loves hemp, and he's high above the Flower Factory and the Temptations in Northside on Spring Grove Avenue. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Temptations?
Yeah, about average, I suppose. It is true, folks. Thanks for being here. It is the High Noon Hemp Show, and I am high above the Hemptations and the Flower Factory in Northside, Cincinnati, Ohio. And we sure do welcome you here to the show today. Remember, the FDA has not evaluated the show for safety or efficacy.
Indeed.
Just because I know. I'm gonna just because I know you guys want to see me a little better. I'm gonna make sure give myself a little bit of light because
Right.
I just need to shine. I need to shine.
That's right.
Hemp skin needs to shine.
Turn the spotlight.
All right, let's go ahead and shine on with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed. Excuse me. Under the sun, with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. It is true. All right, well, we got 121 days until the old federal ban on all the hemp stuff. Now we have yet another attempt. This is Andy Barr out of Kentucky, and it's a bipartisan. And it's going to set up, hopefully it'll set up I don't know if they're going to put what they're really going to do as far as separating intoxicating hemp from regular hemp, because it's all stupid. Anyway, but the most interesting thing, and I think this is probably what's going to get it passed, or attached to, or whatnot, is the fact that it will put a federal tax on what I can only assume is going to be hemp-derived THC, THCA, all the other stuff that they maybe were trying to ban, or what they're trying to, whatever it was. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think that's I think once the federal government sees they can get their coffers and all this stuff, and this is their way to do it, then I don't doubt for 1 minute that this is probably going to take whatever is needed to stop the ban in November. So we'll see. I saw something else where they were saying it would. I mean, obviously, if this passes, it's an act of Congress, and so. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Honestly, thank you.
Thank you, Jane,
for reposting. We do appreciate. So it's going to be, we'll see what happens there with that, and go. It's just starting to get some momentum this week. And so we'll see how it all plays out. Again, it is bipartisan, which is all these attempts to do this before has been bipartisan. Now, I was saying that I was thinking that it would need to be attached to something else, but possibly this can stand on its own once the wording gets worked out, and that this can just be something that they vote on and passes, or it doesn't pass, or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like attempting to take something out of an appropriations bill would seem very difficult. to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's and so I don't, maybe that's going to be the difficulty, and we'll see how this is all going to play out. And I'm still hempily optimistic that by November it won't be a ban. It will be, at least some type of regulations and obviously a tax, possibly. So we will see. We will see. All right. Well, let's get on to the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. The first one is the Grinko pre-roll / blunt containers. I mean, you can put anything. You probably roll up, a couple 3 good size joints, put them in there if you want. You can fill it with anything that you really want, I suppose. But and of course, they are biodegradable. So, eventually, if you ever get done with it or you break it somehow or something, you can just chuck it in the yard, bury it in the yard, and it'll be good. It will be good, I promise. How about some capsules, some CBD capsules for different stuff? The Brothers Apothecary. You can see we got some sleep aid, super green. Oh my God! I watched The Fifth Element last night because it was going off the Tubi. Super green. That's hilarious. I did not even put that together till now. And then you've got your sleep aid. Oh, I said sleep aid already. Your Clarity. Obviously that'd be your morning. Take your sleep aid at night. Maybe get your super greens in the afternoon. Super green. Either way. We are still full-blown necklace season. So, maybe even a back-to-school necklace. We are getting close to back to school. So, maybe we can, if we could get that hemp necklace trend to come back, I'd be happy about that. Either way. And then the last one is the hemp seed pipe. No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's the Job Organic Hemp King Size.
Yes.
And so, a lot of people are looking into alternatives to raw these days. And again, we have the full line of raw, and I'm not trying to turn anybody off of raw, but I have noticed that more people are looking for the alternative. And these jobs have been pretty popular with the organic hemp. So there you have it. 4 from the store. Now the one from my door is actually a 3. But this is just the random food that I have, and I did mess up. I didn't take a picture because I do have hemp milk in the refrigerator. I should have pulled that out and took a picture of it this morning. But this is just what's in my pantry. My good old hemp seed that I eat every day, and then I just snack on the granola and whatnot, and the super greens. Is that really super greens? No, it's just greens. That's just regular green. Green? Super green. Oh, shoot. Fun times. Fifth Element is one of my favorite movies ever, to be honest with you. It's a great freaking movie. And it's going off of Tubi. If you don't have Tubi and you like TV shows and older stuff and movies, Tubi is the greatest free app for that there is. I'm not getting paid by Tubi for anything, but I can tell you I've discovered so many unbelievably cool TV shows that no clue had anything about. And they're super good. But anyway, I saw Fifth Element was going off and at the end of the week, and I was like, well, I'm going to have to go ahead and watch it. So it was nice. I watched half of it out on the Yak last night, out on the river.
Nice.
This was right. Watching the sunset, watching the Fifth Element. Anyway, there you have it, folks. From my door, here on the High Noon Hemp Show, the product spotlight.
Indeed.
Now,
which of course brings us to the greatest segment in internet history, which is the Beachwear segment. We find out all about Beach's extensive, and I mean extensive, hemp wear collection. Now, of course, Beach has set and holds many records, many hemp and cannabis-related records that the Guinness World Records does not recognize because they officially have a policy against recognizing such things. So it's up to us to recognize these things. And in the Beachwear segment, we of course talk about That's right. You best recognize
Best
what we got
recognize.
going on here. Hemp clothing. You best recognize who holds all the records in hemp clothing and all of that. And again, prove us wrong. Beat the records and then come talk to us. But don't call the Guinness World Records because they officially do not care. You know what they do care about? This guy doing the most underwater push-ups on a single breath. He did 86.
Oh my Lord.
Why? I couldn't even begin to formulate an answer to that question. Why this man needed to do 86 push-ups underwater on a single breath, but he
That's how
did.
it trains for deep dives.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this scares away sharks. I don't know if you're supposed to start doing push-ups. I don't know what the purpose is.
It's bro C mentality right there, yo.
Right? Look at me getting buff underwater.
C bro mentality.
Although I'm sure I'm sure push-ups are much easier underwater with
Well, I don't even know how you would do that, to be honest with you. He has to have a weighted vest on. He's got to have weights on. Oh, I can see the weights now. Yeah. You'd have to have weights on to do it.
You're just going to float up.
And then you just find the perfect weight distribution so that it's just enough to keep you from floating away, but not enough to make it hard.
Right. Well, I'm sure this. I'm
sure loopholes in this month.
Yeah, I'm sure Kamal Kaloui from India. I'm sure he did all the math and figured all out because I'm sure this is very important to him. I'm sure this was the biggest event of his life.
Yeah.
In his Guinness World Record for underwater push-ups. But what purpose it has in the world, I like I said, I couldn't even begin to think about an answer. Like I said, unless it scares off sharks or something, I don't know why you need to start doing push-ups underwater. But in any case, that's what the Guinness World Records is focused on. What we're focused on is important things about hemp. And I ask Beach this question every week, and he tells us all about what he is wearing. When I ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're curious, you woke up this morning, hey, Beach, what are you wearing? Now you will know. Up on top of the head there, you got a Hang 10 hat. That is a classic Hemp Star tee. I don't know if that Hemp Star tee has been on the High Noon Hemp Show before. I'm not positive.
Not familiar.
The large shorts have been. I think I just wore them maybe just a month ago on the show. So you've seen the large shorts being held up by the Hempy's belt and the Green Springs Technology pen in my pocket there. I've got a pair of head case boxers on underneath, a pair of Satori no-shows, and what I call the Adidas Ethiopian shell toes. Most people associate those colors with Rastafarianism, but what they don't know is that is actually the colors of the Ethiopian flag, which was where Rastafari said that the black people should migrate back to. That was all part of his proposal. So anyway, there you have it, folks. A little bit of Rastafarian education. And what are you wearing, Beach? Right here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Well, I messed up and didn't send over a commercial, so we're not going to have a commercial. I guess I could do an impromptu commercial, but shop at Hemp, shop at Hemp, shop at Hemptation, shop at the Flower Factory. Come in, come see us. We are here. Blah 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 blah. I'll be back in the store at 1:30. You can come see me then, or right after the show, whenever that happens.
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and get on with some news. I really only had one pick in the news, so you're not missing out anything there. I just didn't get it over. So the National Center for Cannabis Research, if you don't know, which is at the University of Mississippi, which grew all of the cannabis that was supplied to the federal cannabis patients. If you didn't know, there have always been a certain amount of people that actually have a federal prescription for cannabis, and the government sends them their cannabis. Now, I think just within the last year or two, I reported that the University of Mississippi is no longer going to be growing that cannabis. I don't know if it's just because they just stopped doing that because medical cannabis is everywhere, or they finally like ran out of people that they were required to supply their cannabis to. Um, for the record, this has been going on since the 80s. Since the 80s. What I know about it is it was low grade dog food from people that I talked to. That actually, I did actually talk to someone that's had access to this cannabis, federally grown cannabis at the University of Mississippi. And so, they do know quite a bit about growing cannabis. I don't know if they know the best about growing the best cannabis, but they're going to partner with a private company, and they're going to do a study on CBD and sleep quality. Well, that's a good idea. It's a good study. It's definitely going to prove that CBD. There is not one person, not one of my customers, has ever told me that they didn't think CBD didn't help them get better sleep. Not one. I'm not saying I didn't have customers that tried it and didn't tell me that it didn't work for them. But honestly, um, from all of the testimonials of just our customers and everything that I've seen everywhere else in the CBD universe, there is no doubt in my mind that that is one of the therapeutic benefits of CBD. And it's one of the most important ones that people, again, I don't know how many times I've said this, but our customers primarily purchase CBD for anxiety, um, uh, uh, pain relief, and sleep. So, that makes perfect sense. So we'll see. We'll hopefully get some results on that or see some results. So, whoops, I guess I can't send that over. So an artificial stomach experiment. So they build an artificial stomach basically to test how well certain foods um, uh, give you nutrient rich protein powders. Like, what are the best foods to put in or make nutrient rich protein powders by studying the actual supposed digestion of these elements. Um, and the protein powders were included in range of bioactive ingredients such as hemp seed, of course, lion's mane mushroom, and cocoa or coca. Um, and then in a separate category, the protein sources will span both animal and plant based options, including whey, casein, and hemp seed protein. So they're using hemp um, in both to find out how well it is in bioactivity, and then they're also using hemp to see as how well it is at supplying protein. So this is really going to be, I mean, the science behind this one, because this is the one thing we've always said, that um, hemp is it's one of, if not the greatest protein source of any vegetative matter on the planet, besides spirulina, from my understanding. And so we know it's protein basis. Um, and so, I think that I don't think that, again, the only thing that I have an issue with is how real can an artificial stomach be? But I know that artificial stomachs have been around forever. I think John Wayne had like a fake stomach or an artificial stomach, from if I remember correctly. Something tells me that, and so I really feel like the artificial stomach has been out there for a while. So, I mean, I suppose that the artificial stomach has to do the same thing the real stomach does, one way or another, which to me just seems kind of crazy, but I get it. So we'll and I mean, that will be definitely, again, I think all the food studies are the most important to me. I've always said that the food is the most important hemp object or industry that we should honestly focus on first, because that is the most beneficial to the human. And that crosses over to all of the body products and everything. That same hemp seed oil that we can take by the spoonful or use for anything but frying um, can be used uh, in shampoo and soap and all of this shaving cream and everything, because I have everything that has that in it. It is, it's all made. It's all being made. It all exists. Okay. Um, Interesting. I had back-to-back milk stories. The best milk for your heart and brain health. So this article is basically like the best milk for this or the best milk for that, therapeutic wise. Um, and so the best milk for heart and brain health, which in all honesty I would think would pretty much put it at the top of the list of the milk you want to drink. Just saying. Um, Consider hemp milk. Hemp milk is a complete protein that may also contain omega 3, this article says. May. They don't know much about it because it does. It also contains omega 6, essential fatty acids. Now, what's interesting is the next article um, was just about hemp milk and what it would basically, what its benefits were. Or it was about, it was about the healthiest milks to drink, period. And so it had everything: 1% dairy, oat, coconut, all that stuff. Um, but hemp milk is also lower in calories, it said, as well as also containing notable amounts of vitamin E, calcium, iron, zinc, magnesium, potassium, and phosphorus, which is all the things that phosphorus, yeah, that's right. All the things that I've talked about on the show before as far as the benefits of what you get from hemp seed as nutritional value. And then this specific article actually mentions specific foods, which is the milk I have in my refrigerator right now, ironically. And I want to remind everyone, if you're looking for hemp milk at the grocery store, you have to look on the shelf. It
Yeah.
does not have to be refrigerated. So you got to look in your shelf milks, and it's usually not easy to find a lot of times, and it probably depends on what part of the world you're in. Um, as far as your grocery store layout and hemp products. Um, but yeah, I think the last time I found it, now at Jungle Gyms, I was impressed, and that's just a local huge grocery store that has freaking everything, and I love it because of that. They have probably one of the best selections of hemp foods, period, as well. But they had it like on a middle shelf, so I was impressed there. But I know at Kroger's, it's on the bottom shelf of wherever it is on in the store. So a lot of times you really got to hunt down whatever brand of hemp milk, and Pacific is the biggest one. I think they're national, and so I understand why that's probably the one you may see. But there are other hemp milks, um, and of course, it's super easy to make yourself. All you need is the hemp hearts, basically, and a little sweetener, natural sweetener if you want it, a little vanilla if you want it, even. So, you know, and I want to be clear that the calcium that we get from dairy milk is not the right calcium, and it fools the body into not making the right calcium. The calcium we're supposed to get to make our bones healthy comes from food, all right, with vegetables and all of these things. And so this calcium from the hemp milk is exponentially more beneficial than calcium you would get from dairy milk to begin with. And this is based on one of the largest studies that I've ever read about when it comes to dairy as well. I'm not just saying these things because I think it's true. I'm saying these things because it's 100% true. The highest rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures happen in countries that have the highest rates of dairy milk consumption.
Mhm.
That's proven medical science. Anyway, the Journal of Veterinary Sciences released a study that showed adding hemp seed or hemp seed oil to dog food improves digestive health in the dogs. Um, and the hemp oil specifically increased microbial species richness. And so, that sounds like it's beneficial. And I believe that if I remember correctly, the article also said that it improved beneficial bacterium in the gut of the dogs. And so, once again, I think that translates to the reverse mammal testing, that there's more than likely that is in fact the case then with humans. Again, correlation, causation, I'm not going to say. The study's not been done. But I would only guess that those gut benefits from hemp seed or hemp oil, and hemp seed oil, I want to be clear because now we have hemp, what people call hemp oil, which is CBD. And so it's happening less and less, but it still happens. But this is just seed oil. And you can just take that by the spoonful and put it over your dog's food. A teaspoon in the morning, teaspoon at night might be enough, depending on the size of your dog. And so, and you could do hemp oil and CBD if, your dog is ailing or needs, whatever, better quality of life. It doesn't heal or, you know, uh, anything like that, but it can give definitely older dogs a better quality of life on their way out. And I did, that comes from experience myself. Josie's best days were the days where I made sure to give her CBD in the mornings before she left. So they're coming up with this new. They're going to study, I think, a 3-part plan in which to clean up soil. Now, what I find interesting about this is, in the article they proposed that if anyone used this 3-part plan, we could have clean soil within 10 years. And of course, it makes sense. I've said it 100 times on the show. Hemp is probably one of the best phytoremediators as far as a plant goes that exists. So you plant hemp where you have toxins in the soil. And that root, because of how it spreads out and because it goes so long and it's deep into the ground, does an exceptional job at removing toxins. The one site, the indigenous site that was being cleaned up after the military had destroyed it, they removed something like 11 of the 16 PFAs out of the soil. And we've seen projects everywhere where this has been successful. So it makes sense that the growing of hemp on the soil, that's the first stage. That's number one in the 3 stages. And once again, makes total sense because you start with I think the most powerful way to clean the soil, the most, I don't want to say common sense, but, it's basically, and then see what's left and then move on. And I know that they're using biochar, and they can make biochar out of hemp for these things. I know I just did an article. I just talked about something about how hemp biochar um, was good for the soil in doing things. So um, I can definitely see how this makes total sense. Um, and they mentioned that this is a fraction of the cleanup cost, um, and it also removes carbon. So you're growing the hemp, and the hemp is sucking in the carbon. Hemp takes in more carbon than the average tree, so it's removing carbon as well. So it's really cleaning the air and cleaning the soil at the same time. And that's all hemp everywhere. All the hemp that's being grown in the world is cleaning the air. It's all removing carbon. And all of it stays sequestered. When you make hempcrete out of it, it actually stays, and it actually still collects carbon. It's like it continues. And so, just the growing of hemp for the carbon sequestering is, it's the bonus on top of everything else that you can get out of the plant after you've grown it, really. And we don't talk about it a lot, other than I think it's South Dakota, which is actually growing a decent amount of hemp for carbon sequestering purposes. And I don't know, if they're getting um, carbon credits um, for doing it, or if it's just something that they're doing. I don't know, but I do know that they are a good. And South Dakota grows more hemp than anybody else in the country. It's kind of why that is relevant, by the way. Yeah, South Dakota, and their governor back in the day, and I don't know if she's still governor now. She hated. There were drug dogs in the anti-hemp commercial PSA that they made, because they didn't want to even grow industrial hemp. They were like, it was ridiculous. But then they finally started, and now look what happened. They became the largest grower of industrial hemp in the country. It should be Kentucky, but it's not. Now, I will have to say, if they are growing fiber in South Dakota, that makes sense, because the higher latitudes, from my understanding, grow the taller plants, and the taller plants is the I don't want to say better fiber, but chances of it being better and stronger, because it's one big long strand. And so again, it depends on the cultivar. But if you're growing a fiber cultivar, the taller the plant, the better. We know that the hemp traders, they grew a 24-foot tall hemp plant, and they are also. I just saw a kind of flaking on it, but they're, I believe, building or have built a large processing plant. No. I'm sorry. They were showing the farm machinery that was going through the hemp field and cutting the hemp plants down and breaking them as it did it. All right. So, breaking hemp stalks is probably the biggest struggle to getting to the fiber, and then getting that hurd. That's that those little chips that we make the hempcrete and the animal bedding and all the other stuff out of. But 100 years ago, it was super labor intensive, and now it's requiring. There's a lot of new machinery getting built, but to be able to break the stalk and have the fiber right there, out of the field, is, that's doing something. Most of these processing plants are massive 50-foot long machines, 20 feet wide, and all the hemp goes in the front, basically. It's, an old school decoritator, more or less. And then out pops the fiber in the end. And I'm guessing the hemp herd, the shiv, probably drops earlier. And then you have another powder that is normally left over in the breaking of the hemp stalk, and that's lignin, which we have not seen a whole lot of industrial playback with lignin, but it is the lignin is what makes the stalk so strong. It's a binding agent. So I would almost think that once everything's broken and you end up with this pile of lignin, that is yet another byproduct of the hemp plant that should be making its way into different industries. And my head says make glue out of it, some bonding agent out of it. If it is a bonding agent, seems logical because now you have a natural, non-toxic binding agent, from what I know. And again, I have not done all the science on that. This is my general knowledge of lignin. But I do know that it is, it's kind of the third byproduct that kind of gets left, unused, because we have used so many uses for the fiber. We have so many uses for the herd. And so the lignin byproduct, once the stalk has been processed, has to have some beneficial use, one way or another. So, I don't, that's something I might look into it a little bit. I really, that's a conversation I would love to have with one of these huge processors. And so, maybe I'll try to get Lauren Sermon on the show. And he can give us some fiber schooling. I know that I can still learn from him when it comes to fiber. I may know more about hemp than anybody else on the planet, but I don't know everything about hemp, and I wouldn't even begin to claim that. But I would have to say that there is no doubt in my mind I have done more research on the plant and everything that it does than anyone else. I don't know if that means I know more, because that's based on my memory. And I get my hemp oil for brain function, but anyway. All right. Well, no medical marijuana meetup next week. I want everybody watching to send as many good vibes as they can to Bonnie. She's going through some health issues, and she can use all the hemp love that she can get. And so, the world would be losing a cannabis hero if we lose Bonnie. So, and I think my questions and thoughts were out there. It's kind of a short show today. I'm going to let everybody get on with their day a little bit early today. Not as much rambling as normal. So, I could ramble for, say, another 20 minutes if you really wanted to, but we'll save it for next week. Next week is the season finale.
It is.
Of season 29.
Right.
Season 30 in 2
Great.
weeks. Next week will be the final season episode, season 29. Crazy indeed. Crazy indeed. So, all right, folks. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See y'all next week.
Peace.